Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, Mr. Deputy Speaker, we'll have to see that our economy becomes buoyant, that there is full employment, that there is no waste of capacity, and that the administrative norm is something like this. This is what Riper in his history of the American civil service has said. An entirely new type of public servant came storming into Washington. This was during the New Deal, and the same is happening in the New Frontiers days. Young, enthusiastic, idealistic, able and hard-working. It was a psychic blood transfusion. We saved America. Our civil service needs a psychic blood transfusion. In conclusion, may I make one appeal? It should be the unchanging, unfailing aim of all our efforts, of all our endeavor, whether fiscal or otherwise, to enable us to defend our frontiers, to defend our freedom, to defend our heritage, and to ensure that the Jawan who is standing guard in the Himalayas, braving the hazards of an inclement weather and an unscrupulous foe, he will not have to worry. He will be first supplied, adequately fed, adequately clothed, and adequately armed. And he will not have to worry about those whom he has left behind, his dear ones, his old parents, or the young companion of his life. That nobody will take away from the lips of his mother or father the cup of tea, or the bidi, or the bowl of rice, and nobody will extinguish the kerosene lamp that burns in his tenement or in his hut. Let us place, in his hands let us place arms and weapons, and in his heart let us plant hope and faith, so that he may succeed and we may prosper. Thank you very much.
Now you will hear some portions of Mr. Nath Pai's speech on 18th March 1963 in Lok Sabha.
But what is even worse is this: every Indian is angry, every Indian is concerned, every Indian is worried about this development of this new axis against India. I want to know from the Prime Minister whether my information is correct, that when this nefarious pact was signed and a banquet was held in honor of signing of this pact, the Indian charge d'affaires in Peking attended the banquet. If this was true, if it is true, if the information is true, it is highly disgraceful. It is not in keeping with our self-respect and our self-interest. And if the world thinks that the Indians are hypocrites, we shall have to pardon them. Because on the one hand...
What's the source of information?
Well, let them contradict it. You know what has happened in England. I am not... if I am wrong, if I prove wrong, I will withdraw. If I am proved wrong, I will withdraw and tender apologies to you and to the charge d'affaires.
That's all right. That's all right. But whenever the honourable member makes such a statement, he also must have some information before he...
It will not be. I said, Mr. Speaker, no, I will handle this. Mr. Speaker?
I don't want him to disclose the information, but he must have some information.
Mr. Speaker.
Simply saying that
Mr. Speaker,
I might be contradicted if...
The judge, and I being a student of law, you will concede me this thing, that in the first place I am speaking on most unimpeachable evidence. The proof of it is lying that it is not being contradicted. It cannot be contradicted. The dinner was attended. But Mr. Speaker, I must tell you one thing, that recently in England there was a case, and I think it is but proper that for some time sources are not easily disclosed. Then Parliament will not be able to function. Only thing here should be...
I haven't asked him to disclose his source, but I have only told him that he must say that he has that information on which he can rely.
Yes,
credible information he has. Every honourable member, before making any such statement, must satisfy himself that the information that he is giving certainly is creditable. At least he must be satisfied.
Otherwise you will not accept.
I was asking Mr.
May I assure you, sir, I am grateful for your guidance, that I have fully satisfied myself before making this very serious suggestion in the House that it was correct and best. I want to know, it is a very serious matter if we are to be humiliated and we are to be invited charge of hypocrisy. It means that there is nothing. The Chinese will draw the inference that the Indians, any kick is good enough for the Indians. We can kick them and they will take it lying low. What has happened to us? Why must we fall so low to curry favors and to please and to appease the Chinese? What has happened to the Promethean courage of the Prime Minister? That unbending will, that undaunted courage. which once dared to defy the might of empires, which mocked at the dictators and which laughed in the face of death itself. Why this kind of show that give us any straw, we will clutch at it and come to a compromise with you? It is this that we are resenting. It's no use saying that protocol demanded and we attended. Far more important, Mr. Speaker, only a few minutes and I will conclude now. May I ask him, there is an impression growing into the country that we are tending to forget those who fought for us. Nothing has been done about those brave sons of India who were victims of China's perfidy. More than 3,000 of our prisoners are there. It's no use telling us that the International Red Cross is not allowed to do anything. They fought our India, and it is our responsibility and it is our duty. And impression is going around the country that they are forgotten men already. I would have thought that the Prime Minister would have made it the first condition when he talked with the delegates from Colombo Power, that the release of these men is the first thing, and no talks with the aggressor till all our brave sons are brought back. They were never remembered. Today we demand this kind of thing. Mr. Speaker, I will plead in conclusion with the Prime Minister, because I think my time is over. The government of India generally claims that our policy vis-à-vis China, I have nothing to say about it in general, is a success. We might have lost some territory, we might have lost some face, we might have lost some prestige, we might have been humiliated, we might have been defeated, but the policy is a success. I am reminded of that parrot story of the princess who could not be informed that her dear parrot was dead. So gently the Pradhan told her, you see, he doesn't move his wings, he doesn't kick his legs, he doesn't drink water, he doesn't drink food, doesn't eat food. What did it mean? The only word left to be uttered was that he is dead. The foreign policy, the China policy is a great success. Only we are surrounded by Chinese machinations, we are losing territory, and China is getting away, and no Asian power will come forth to stand by India and condemn that. And still we must go on tom-tomming that we are a success. Indeed, strange is the meaning of the word successful, Mr. Speaker. In the past, we made one mistake of placing too much faith on Chinese good intentions. I think the Prime Minister again is likely to make a mistake, and pardon my immodesty for daring to suggest that even he can commit mistakes. I plead guilty for this immodesty. It is this, that in the past we did that folly. Now what is likely to happen is this. We are beginning to place too much faith on the possible development of a rift between the Soviet Union and China. If it is not in keeping with self-respect, as the Prime Minister said, to depend upon others to defend our country, as I think he rightly said it, is it the part of wisdom and statesmanship and self-interest and self-respect to depend for our foreign policy on a possible rift that may develop between China and Soviet Union? And Mr. Khrushchev, we must take it very seriously. He always warned those who want to draw benefit, be it Mr. Harriman or be it the Prime Minister of India. Mr. Khrushchev has already warned us that it is a quarrel between brothers, it's a fraternal quarrel, it's a family affair, and any attack on China will be regarded as an attack on the Soviet Union. Let us not try to base our policy on things. What I would plead therefore with him is this. We need a policy of dynamic firmness, a policy of cultivating our neighbors, cultivating in the way Shri Shastri has shown the way, and building our strength. We must discard all our illusions. I would quote now one thing and conclude, since I don't want to tie your patience, Mr. Speaker, anymore. Only one thing. Shri Professor Hiren Mukherjee, symbolizing the new tactics of his party, Nehru is in danger, save him. This is how they are warding off the attack on themselves. But I say that in sheer tactics and strategy, since the late Mr. Moltke and Schlippen, this is the best tactics that a party corner has used. Their slogan is Jawaharlal Nehru in danger, and they are the champions. Today he did the same trick, and very successfully again. He quoted that Sri Ayub Khan has tried to suggest that Sri Jawaharlal Nehru is an obstacle, wrong and objectionable. We would tell, but may I tell him something from home? I think he knows the organ of international communism, which is called the World Marxist Review, published from Prague. In the latest issue it has said that this is a reactionary government and this is a reactionary Prime Minister. I think this is a gross insult to this country and a crude type of interference in our country, in our national affair. I hope the Prime Minister will have to take note of this kind, because a sinister move is afoot in the country to call the Prime Minister progressive, then to attack everybody else behind the shield of calling him. And they are getting away with this kind of game, and this must be stopped. Mr. Speaker, I am reminded of a slok before I sit in the Gita. Arjuna, after having heard all the probings, this is what he said. Nashto moha smutir labdha tvat prasadat mayachyuta stitosmi gatasandeha karishye vachanam tava. The Prime Minister should tell the people of this country, I am your old Jawaharlal. I am the old fighter. I am your old Jawaharlal. I am the old fighter. I am the one who hoisted the flag on the banks of the Ravi and proclaimed India's integrity and sovereignty. I have listened to your criticisms and to your proddings. My illusions are gone. My doubts are over. And my countrymen, now I shall do as you command. This should be the basis of his foreign policy. Thank you very much.